They say your eyes are the windows to the soul. They're also the windows to your health, because they let eye doctors see what's going on inside. Think about this. A comprehensive eye exam can be an early detector of serious health problems, like high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Shouldn't you see your eye doctor yearly? Go to thinkaboutyouryes.com to learn more and for a list of local eye doctors. It could help save more than your vision.
Hi, how are you? This is Patty with the PIC TV Network, and I want to ask you a question. Do you believe in miracles? I do. And guess what? So does Project Smiles. We have created so many miracles last year and continue to create miracles as the season comes around with the holidays. We are asking you to please give a gift from the heart, only from the heart, and pay it forward with a miracle. I do want to share a testimony of my miracle. I received a car. I received a car. It was a gift. It was a great gift. It was so well received. And my friend, it wasn't a family member, it was a friend who was so generous that gave it to me. She represents gratitude. She's a person of gratitude, and she reminds me to be grateful. She sees the good in paying it forward, and she also is always giving straight from her heart. So again, I just want to share that miracles happen every day, and you could be a part of that. You could not only be a receiver of a miracle like me, but also be a giver of a miracle as well as me. Here at the PIC TV Network, we're all about love and compassion and helping each other rise up. So again, Project Smiles for the PIC TV Network.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Sid the Entertainer. I want y'all to check out PIC TV Network. That's right, PIC TV Network. They got 60 free channels on Roku. This is dope. They also started the brand new Coaching World channel at $9.89. So, if you are a content provider, you are a young business with an opportunity to build a platform where you can have your own show, do some programming, check out PIC TV Network on Roku. They got over 60 free channels for you to check out and also grow a business. Go and see them now. See the content. See what they have to do. Learn something. Check them out. All right? PIC TV Network. That's what I'm talking about. I'll holler.
Say Everybody, my name is David Evans from Washington, D.C. You know what time it is. It's now time for another big show on the Pick TV network. And I'm so happy for the co-host, the original, the only brother Orion Meadows from down in Chicago. This dude is right here. It's over the Prison Freedom Channel, folks. He's putting it down. We're going to talk about what we recommend for you to do by watching our Prison Freedom shows and programs. Brother O, how you doing, man? How's Chicago? Is it cold down there yet, bro?
It has cooled off. So you probably need a jacket, maybe a hoodie or whatever. So yeah, it's starting to cool off though.
Man, I'm happy.
But I'm doing well. I'm I'm glad to be here. How about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. It's just not a love, man. I think y'all team won today, man. I think y'all Chicago Bears won today, man.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. I haven't really been paying attention to sports that much. I did see something about the Packers beating Tampa Bay or something like that, but I've been moving around a lot, so I haven't really had time to pay attention to what's going on in the sports world as much.
Wow, man. Thank you. Hey, we got a chatting in person. We got Kimberly, she's from Wisconsin. She's our Pick TV network business manager there. Her and the daughter.
Okay. I'll be in Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, I'll be in Wisconsin Friday for a few days. Yeah.
Kimberly, did you hear that, Kimberly? He's gonna be up in the cold Wisconsin. So you gotta look him up. This is the business manager, your brother. He's gonna be on. I want to talk about for everybody don't know what the Prison Freedom Show and channel is all about, man. I want to take it coming from the beginning. When I created Pick TV Network, I created one of the 60 channels, and it's called Prison Freedom. And I want people to understand, man, when you came aboard and said, I want to help build that channel, what did you see for the Prison Freedom Channel at that time when you said you want to help me, Brother O?
I saw the need for us being able to control the narrative about people who are in prison and people who are returning from prison, trying to get reacclimated into society, because there's a stigma and a stereotype that come with people who have a record, who've been convicted of felonies here in the United States and even abroad. And so that was something that I wanted to do. There are a lot of exaggerated stories out there about what typically goes on in prison. A lot of people are misinformed about certain, laws, legislation that affects our community and people who are impacted by the system, the criminal justice system. So I feel like social media is it provides you a platform to be able to express your truth and to provide information, education to people so that they can have a greater awareness about issues. And that's what I wanted to do, because it seemed like there were other groups who were creating a narrative that was negative and just really false about people who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated and the conditions that they're under, and those that help to lead to incarceration.
Yeah, man. I wanted you to talk about, when I said, man, I need you to take the lead for the Prison Freedom Show, and it turned into a channel. We're now like almost 10th episode of now, man, and you coming on. Tell everybody about your story, Brother O, and how you came out and came from prison to a new vision to helping kids, man, to working 2 jobs, bro, and bringing on people like Benny and other people who are public officials, man, and being the lead person on the Prison Freedom Show, and the people that you had to come on, man. And one of the greatest persons, man, I'm going ahead of myself, is when you had the brother on from Jerusalem, man. It was amazing. But let's start with you, Brother O. What qualified you to be the face of the Prison Freedom Channel?
So I've always had, or I've always liked journalism. I've always been into it. Larry King, right? I was a big fan of Larry King, and when I was young, I used to watch the news. I used to watch, debates that politicians had and things like that. And I always felt like I could, like I had the ability to do that. And I wanted to get involved in journalism. So I imagined myself doing this someday in some form or fashion. But what allowed me to be put in this position was, and I'm going to use a phrase that we use at NAFI, which is the National Alliance for the Formerly Incarcerated, is that you can't build your shield when you're on the battlefield, meaning that you have to prepare yourself for a certain situation, for certain circumstances. You just can't walk into it and just think that things are going to go well for you. So I was preparing myself for this moment while I was in prison, before I stepped out of here. I educated myself. I got connected with the right people so that once I got out of here, I would be able to be successful. So that was the first start. And I think that that's the most important thing. And then just really evaluating yourself, who you are, looking at your shortcomings, but also analyzing your strengths, and then, seeing how you can use them and adjustments that you need to make so that you can be successful. Obviously, after being in prison for a long time, there are some things that you're not going to know are going to be before you. But I think that if you make an honest assessment of yourself, and if you have, if you've truly prepared yourself to come out and make a successful transition, even the things that might come before you that are unexpected, you'll be able to make the right adjustments and not fall into the trap of recidivism that so many people unfortunately fall into.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy, man. You're taking the Prison Freedom Show. Folks, you watch the special segment of PIC TV Network, the Prison Freedom Show, and the Prison Freedom Channel with Brother O, who is the host now, So I want you to talk about now the vision unfolding, because I gave this channel over to you and this show over to you. Let's talk about Benny, who you brought on to do an interview, and what is he doing, the time that he served, and what is he doing from prison to vision.
So Professor Benny Lee, he's a professor at Northeastern Illinois University. He's actually been out of prison almost 4 decades. I think it's like maybe 38, 39 years, somewhere around that. It's close to that, though, close to 4 decades. So Professor Lee was someone that I had heard about while I was incarcerated. I actually was trying to, I had put together a proposal for a creative arts program. And one of the prisoners that I was trying to recruit to become part of the creative arts program told me about Professor Lee. And then shortly after that, one of my college professors in prison, after having a discussion with him, he had mentioned Professor Lee, and he told me that since I was getting out shortly, that might be someone that I would consider connecting with. And so I took that as a sign, 2 people like within maybe a 2-month period talking about someone out here that was doing something successful. and they thought highly enough of me to think that that's a person that I should align myself with. So when I got out, I pursued him, and that's to make a long story short, I found some people that knew him, and I was able to make that connection. And so since then, you know, we've talked, we've worked together. I'm a member. I'm the creative arts coordinator of his organization, NAFI, the National Alliance for the Empowerment of the Formerly Incarcerated, and we have a reentry circle. And you've actually been our guest there one time, Dr. Evans. So I've been working with that organization, and also I'm with the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago, where Professor Lee has been there maybe like 6 years. And what we do is we train people on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of nonviolence, which the core of it consists of the beloved community model and 6 steps and 6 principles of nonviolence. And so Professor Lee and I, that's what we do. We instruct people, we train people on the philosophy of nonviolence that Dr. Martin Luther King embraced, and he instructed other people in, to try to help people be able to live a less stressful life, and a life with not as much tension and disorder. And we believe that doing that also would contribute to the problem, contribute to trying to resolve the problem, the issue that we have right now in the United States with mass incarceration. Because if you can get people to embrace and adopt these principles of nonviolence, then you would be able to lower the number of people who will be incarcerated, because they'll be living a peaceful and just life. So that's what we've been doing right now, work with returning citizens, and also, you know, teaching people about these principles that we need so much in our communities today.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud, you know, of you embracing me and Pick TV Network and working. And I am so happy and honored, man, to have you to be the face of the Prison Freedom Channel. I want you to talk to our audience and let them know some of the other officials that you had to come on, do an interview with, Brother O, and they won.
Oh yes, you're talking about Dan Pogorzelski. So yeah, he won the Democratic primary for Commissioner for Water Reclamation District right here in Chicago, Illinois. So yeah, and he's a colleague of mine. I met him at the Hairpin Arts Center, and he was telling me about his campaign, and I told him about the program, Prison Freedom Program, and that he could come on here and he could talk about his campaign and what he's trying to do, the things that he feels the people in his district need to know about what's going on and what's pertinent to them. So he was on here, State Rep LaShawn Ford out of Illinois. He was here, and we've had several people come on here, but we've had some politicians, people who are running for political office. We've had some activists on here, and of course we've had some people who are working for prison reform and who are advocates for education and the arts and so forth in the Department of Corrections. But yes, we've State Rep LaShawn Ford. He's a good guy. He's actually an advocate for the rights of returning citizens, and he's done a lot of work alongside a lot of other people that I know that are in the circle, in that circle of people who are concerned about prisoners' rights and the rights of people who are returning from the Department of Corrections right here in Illinois and even abroad. We can't hear you, Dr. Evans?
Oh, the Prison Freedom Channel is not only about people coming out of prison with a new vision, but it's also about people who are out of prison making a difference, such as you had several politicians to come on, and they won. You interview them right here on this channel, and also in Hello America. You also partner and co-hosting me with shows there. I want to talk about a couple of people that I know, and it's in my mind right now. The brother who came on from Jerusalem, who was on. Many people respond saying that brother's testimony touched my life. Can you talk about him and the interview you had with him on the Prison Freedom Channel?
Yes. So I actually met him, Imad. I met him at the reentry circle for NAFI one Saturday morning, and I was just, he was there, and then there was another author that was there, and I was telling him about the Prison Freedom program that we have right here on the PIC TV network, and how I'm an author. That's basically how you and I we met, because I was talking about my book and my poetry. That's how we began our relationship, and I was telling him about my publications, the Prison Freedom Show. He gave me his information, told me about his book, and it had been a while. I hadn't contacted him immediately, but I remembered him, and so I reached out to him. He responded, and I told him about the show, and he was excited about coming on, and he wanted to tell his testimony. So I'm glad that, that his story resonated with the people out there. That's because that's what we want to do. We want to inform people. We want to make them aware, and we want to inspire people. So if we can have people come on here who have either been impacted by the criminal justice system by being incarcerated themselves, or just people who they feel that they need to do something about mass incarceration, and they feel like they need to help people who are in the prisons and who are coming home. If we can inspire people by having and motivate people by having these people come on the show and tell their stories and talk about the things that they're doing, then that's a good thing. And I feel like we're doing our job by inspiring and motivating and informing people. That's what we want to do. So I'm glad that people were able to get something from that story, and that it moved them. And hopefully we'll be able to continue to provide you with content that will provoke thought and want to motivate people to go out and do something themselves, because that's really the goal, right? Is to bring people on here and to provide this information to the masses, so that people can go out now that they are armed with this information and then do something about it themselves in their own way, right? We're all different. We all have our gifts and abilities and so forth. And the goal is to just take that and utilize that so that it can benefit society.
Wow. Hey, everybody, watch the Prison Freedom show with our host and our person who the face of the Prison Freedom Channel, Ron Meadows from Chicago, Illinois. My name is David Evans from Washington, D.C. Everybody's watching right now. We're going to take a commercial break and come back and talk to Brother Olson more about what's coming new on the PIC TV network. And you can chat in, get with this conversation today, folks. And we're happy and excited for everybody watching this special presentation of the Prison Freedom Show with Brother O, Dr. Evans, Washington, D.C. We'll be right back right after this.
Shout out to PIC TV Network. Check them out. Black owned and operated. Let's support each other. I'm Zeke with the Universal Circus. I'll be tuning in. Shout out to PIC TV Network. Check them out. Black owned and operated. Let's support each other. I'm Zeke with the Universal Circus. I'll be tuning in.
A lot of people ask me all the time, how did Pick TV Network get started? Well, I want to tell you, it was because of Brenda Ann Evans, my sister. She left this world and went to heaven. We had her service on September the 12th, 2020. But another blessing was born through Pick TV Network. And we're so happy again for her story that will always be told. We remember the wonderful smiles, her laughter, her kind heart. The Pick TV Network is dedicated to Brenda. It was birthed because of Brenda. The fire and zeal is Brenda. The light will shine because of my sister Brenda. So when you see the channels and programs on Pick TV Network, always remember how it got started. It started because of Brenda, my sister that I love forever. Gone but
Yo, what's up? This bruh man from the fifth floor. Yo, look at here. Y'all need to support the new Coaching World channel on Pick TV Network. It's all that. I mean, go to www.watchpicktv.com. That's PICTV.com. It's all that. So spread the word. You know, the new coaches channel. That's Pick TV Network. www.watchpicktv.com. You know, my dude, man, David Edwards is the president, all right, of the Pick TV Network. So let's support him. You know, Pick TV, all coaches need to be off up on this here channel. I mean, it's like money in the bank. Matter of fact, it's like Serb sandwiches in the bank. All the Serb sandwiches that you can eat. Watching PickTV.com for the coaches. Peace.
Everybody, we're right back here again. My name is David Evans from the Nation's Capital. I want to say thank you for tuning in to the Prison Freedom Channel. Listen, I'm here with Brother O. We from the Nation's Capital, all the way from here to Chicago, beaming it in just for you. Hey, Brother O, we got a response from two response really from Wisconsin, cold Wisconsin, down there with our very own Kimberly. Is sending a question in. Are you working with younger men in this re-entry program you have? Let's answer that, Brother O.
All right. Oh, yes. I mean, we work with, all ages, right? Most of the time. And what does she mean by like younger men is if she's talking about juveniles, then yes, we do have a youth circle. We're still working on that, but we have a youth circle to try to help those young men and women who have been incarcerated, try to get them on the right path. Fortunately, when you're younger, you don't have as many barriers, I think, as a person who is older. So yeah, we do work with younger men. If you're talking about juveniles with our youth circle, but we don't discriminate by age. We don't discriminate, and those that may not be juveniles but they're still young, like 19, 20, 21, 22, around that age range. We work with them as well. With NAFI does, and then also the Institute the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago also has a department where we have reentry services there too. So with both organizations that I'm with, we do have reentry services for younger and older men and also women. So because we don't want to exclude them. We know that a lot of women are beginning to or have been locked up. And so they come home and they face similar issues as men, but then they also have separate issues because of them being mothers and so forth that men don't necessarily have to deal with. So we have people who specialize in helping women help try to provide services so that they can have the resources that they need. And if we don't do it directly, there are other organizations that we work with, that we network with, that we can direct them towards to help facilitate the things that they need if we're not able to do it ourselves.
That's big, Brother O. I think we doing something to connect with our audience, along with you and coming on talking, and I see, our person of the week, commenting and also asking questions. This is what we want to do. I got another response from our person, Kimberly from Wisconsin. What is your greatest accomplishment in prison reform? Can you answer that, Brother O?
So my greatest accomplishment, me personally, because not speaking for the group, but me personally, my greatest accomplishment in prison reform is being a member of ILCHIP, which is the Illinois Coalition for Higher Education in Prison, and also a member of PNAP out of Northeastern Illinois University. And PNAP is the Prison and Neighborhoods Arts and Education project. Working with them, that's my greatest accomplishment. And the reason why is because especially PNAP, and some of the people, as I said, like a lot of these organizations, they network, and they work with one another. And so by me being a member of Northeastern Illinois University's PNAP program, I was connected to Adler University's ILCHIP, the Illinois Coalition for Higher Education in Prisons. And so being able to work with these organizations, to work for them, to do my part as far as outreach and getting the word out, and even giving my insight on certain things. They'll ask me, hey, you know what? What are some of the things that you saw in there that you feel need improvement? And I'll get them some insight about that, since I am recently released, one of the more recently released members of these organizations. I could provide them with insight that's like relevant in this current time, because things change in the prison system. And so it's just an honor that these people have called me, and then they refer other people to me to ask me to try to get some insight about certain things that need to be done, certain ways to be able to, I guess you could say, tackle an issue, address an issue in there. By me being recently released, and I was there to see a lot of the shortcomings that the system had in there, especially like with the educational system in the prisons, mental health as well. I saw some things that needed that need improvement upon with the mental health system in there, and so I've been able to tell them about certain shortcomings, certain flaws that are in the system there that they should be on the lookout for when they go in and talk to some of their clients, some of the people that they're serving in the prisons. So that's like my greatest accomplishment, being able to that these people even considered me to come on board and to work for them, but then also to provide them with my insight so that they can take it and then see how they can utilize it.
That's major, I'm going to thank you, Brother O, for just being a person of care to give back, coming out of prison, being in for 24 years, coming out from prison to a vision to give back to society, to help people, man, to bring people on, to build this television network, man, and channels and shows and programs. We were looking to bring a brother on tonight. He had some Wi-Fi issues prior to the show, but can you talk about him and what he planned to impact on our audience when he come and do his presentation?
Oh yes, so his name's Michael Cannon. He's a colleague of mine. I actually knew him while I was incarcerated. We talked about, and it's kind of surreal just being out here with him, because I remember we were on the prison yard and we walking around and just talking about some of the things that we wanted to do once we got out. And there were times when we felt very discouraged because it's a very dismal environment, and sometimes the weight of the burden of being incarcerated sometimes can be overwhelming. And so we would have to, we had to experience that. But he was actually with me when I was able to get my creative art program going, when I got it approved by the administration at the prison I was in. And there were a lot of people there that they really didn't believe that it could happen. They have really negative attitude about it, which I can understand, right? Because our expectations are pretty much low when it comes to getting something like that done. But he was there with me, and when he saw that happen, he encouraged me. That gave me a lot of hope. Obviously, it motivated him, but he was showing me some of his ideas for programs that he wanted to start once he got released, to try to help people who were coming out of prison, returning from the Department of Corrections, come out and get acclimated into society successfully. And so now that's what he has been doing since he's been out. He actually got out before me, and he's made a lot of progress. I'm very impressed, because you meet people and you hear people always talk about their ideas, their endeavors that they have, and they don't follow up on it for various reasons, right? Not because they're not sincere all the time, but just life happens, right? And some people just they underestimate the level of difficulty that comes with trying to do something as big and important as trying to start new programs out here for people who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. But he has his own organization that he started, trying to help citizens who are returning from the Department of Corrections. And he's put together a very impressive team, a lot of people who are sincere about helping people come home and get the resources that they need. So he will be here on the Prison Freedom program right here on the PIC TV network. It's just a matter of time. He was supposed to come today, but he had some Wi-Fi issues, and we didn't want him to start, and then the issues started back again, and then we wouldn't be able to get all of the information from him that our audience needs. And we didn't want to cheat him, nor did we want to cheat our audience by having him come on, and then he had issues, and we wouldn't be able to get everything that he's trying to convey. So, but Michael Cannon is his name. Very positive-minded brother, very motivated, and he's determined. And I'm just glad to be a colleague of his, and that he actually called me and to help him with one of his fundraisers that will be going on October 22nd is the scheduled date for the fundraiser that he's going to have.
Wow. Yeah, I'm also just excited. Thank you, Kimberly, again. You're living proof that anyone can redeem their life when they are ready to. Amazing. You're watching the Prison Freedom Show here live from Washington, D.C., all the way down to Chicago with Brother O. He's our PIC TV Network manager. He's a host. He's also been on Hello America, helping me to build channels on PIC TV Network, folks. This is big. Brother O, let's talk about how important it is, because my godson, Raymond Carter Jr., he's still in there. You talk to him. He's in the correction facility. He's been there for over 25 years now going on. We're praying that he will come home soon. And we're working on another person you'll be meeting hopefully this week. A young lady's trying to help another brother to come out who's been in almost 40 years of life in prison. He's trying to get him to come out. But how important it is over the holidays to get a card, to get a phone call, for Thanksgiving and, Christmas and Easter and then birthdays and, special holidays rolling around. You know the feeling, man. Tell the whole world how important it is to get something like that, to hear something like that from the family.
Yeah, the holidays. The holidays are a time when people get together with their families and their loved ones, their friends. And so when you're in there, it's a community in there. Sometimes it's rough in there, but you'd be surprised at the kind gestures though that people make in prison. Like, so sometimes it could be a place where there's a lot of frustration, anger, and tension, and unfortunately you have some violent incidents occur. But I've also I've felt a lot of love in the prison system from guys, because what happens is you form like a rapport, and a very strong rapport and bond with guys in there, because they realize that at times that's all that we're all that we have, but it's important because during these moments, these days, these holidays, people think about their family members that sometimes are no longer even here. And then there are those that their family members are on the other side, but they can't be with them. And I remember when I would just get random cards from people that I didn't even know. Like there would be outreach, there would be prison outreach from churches, and they would send me cards and telling me that they love me and things like that. And that was good. That's encouraging to have people on the outside showing that they do care about you, and they don't necessarily have to know you, but the fact that they just care about people like you and your circumstances, and that they're not judging you, it means a lot. Because a lot of guys, their family members, like I said, they've passed away, or they just disown them, or they just don't care. So when they get when guys get a letter, or the women, obviously, I haven't been in a women's facility, but they're going through the same struggle. When they can get some type of letter or card showing some type of acknowledgement that they exist and that they are, that their life is of some value, then that speaks volumes.
That's big, man. Brother for you to be able to come here, man, and come from prison to a vision. Tell the whole world, man, before you do a poem or two, about your book. And did you write that book while you were in? And the book that you have now, and there might be some people who want to get the book. So, you were in prison, you're out of prison now, you're working, you got a promotion on one job, got another job, you been blessed to be an author, now you're a television host. If you didn't tell people where you come from, they wouldn't even know, because of your story is just amazing, man. And your glory right now, man. People see you sounding on TV, but they don't know what you went through to get to where you are. Talk about your book, Brother O, and what inspired you to write that book?
All right. Yeah, I'll talk about my book, but I want to comment on what you just said. That is the goal, right? When you come out, you want to be able to fit back into society and live your life just like everyone else, right? That is and that is the goal, especially for all of the organizations that deal with reentry, right? But especially NAFI, the National Alliance for the Empowerment of the Formerly Incarcerated, because how are you empowered? You empowered when you are able to come out and be successful after you have gained, you have gotten your liberty again and you have become a citizen. And so that's the goal. We want to be able to walk down the street and be just like anybody else. But also, regardless of, the stigma and the stereotype that may come with a person being incarcerated, we want to show people what the face of reentry looks like. The face of a returning citizen who is successful looks like, right? And so we come out and we share our stories. We share our testimony of success so that we can show people, hey, a person that has been incarcerated should not be someone who is shunned by society, who should be disowned and just, cast away as though his life has no meaning or no value. We want to be able to show people that, hey, we went through that, for whatever reasons, but we were able to change our lives and come out and make a meaningful contribution to our communities. So we tell our testimony so that people can know what we went through, but also so that we can inspire people who unfortunately will end up down that road, right? If we can get people to not go down that path, then that's a victory as well. But we know, unfortunately, some people will go down that road. And so by us telling our story, by us being successful, then what we do is we give them hope, but we also give them a blueprint for being able to make a transformation so that they can be successful when they do return home. And so this is and I'm just one of the faces of reentry, of successful reentry into society out of, prison. There are many people who are doing the work, many people who are formerly incarcerated, who are doing great things. But that is the goal, right? And that's what I mean by using this, once again, to create the narrative. We want to come out and show people, hey, this is what a formerly incarcerated person looks like. If I didn't tell you my story, you wouldn't know. But I'm here to tell you my story. I'm not hiding. I'm here to tell you my story so that you can know that people who go to prison sometimes make mistakes, but they are capable of changing their lives and making a very meaningful contribution to their communities, that they shouldn't just be shunned and cast away.
Amazing. Man, for you to come up, I got to just give you all the love, because what you've done for PIC TV Network, the Prison Freedom Channel, is amazing, man. We talk, we embrace, we've been on up to sometimes 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock doing shows. This is like the 10th episode, folks. You want to continue to watch the Prison Freedom shows, programs, you want to get in touch with Brother O, get his book. Brother O, did you tell about your book and how they can get the book?
Yeah. So I could do that. Yeah. So this, and I have actually 3 publications that are my own, and I also contributed to another publication. And all of these were done while I was incarcerated. And going back to our saying, you can't build your shield when you're on the battlefield. I envisioned all of this. I wanted to tell my story, but one thing, and life is short, and nothing is promised. So one of the things that I thought about was my legacy, right? If I were to die, I thought to myself, well, if I were to pass away today, what would be my legacy, right? And so I thought, like, it would just be bad things. So I need to work on that. What I'm going to leave behind to posterity. And so I began working on my poetry. I wanted to leave that behind, and it wasn't like really just for like recognition or fame or anything like that. But I wanted to create something that had a message, something that had substance, and that people could be able to get something from it. So that's why I began, and I wanted people I wanted to paint the picture of what a person incarcerated goes through, but not just what he goes through while he's in prison, but what even leads him up to that. The psyche that a person has that ends up going to prison, coming from the streets. How it starts, what happens when you go through the process of being in prison, and sometimes even going to court, having that weight upon you, that burden upon you, not knowing what your future is going to be like, right? But then the realization that one comes to, or should come to, after sitting down for a while and thinking about, your life, the decisions, the choices that you make that end up putting you under those circumstances. So that was really my motivation for my publications when I began. And so Inside the Box, as you can see, this is the only one that I have with me right now, but I have 3 publications. But this is as Inside the Box, and as you can see, you got a brain and you have a chains, around them, and it just talks about my experience in there, and I'm very proud of it. It's one of my, my greatest accomplishments so far, and I aspire to accomplish much more. But yeah, I'm very proud of the work. And let me see. I have a poem called Blood and Ink, and I'll recite that poem. Give me a moment. Here it is. I want the ink that drips from my pen to be like blood, the blood of a martyr. For martyrs spark revolution. Revolution means change. I want to help change the perception of the millions of my brethren in chains. Show the world the humanity existing within us all. If I could write the story of my life in blood, I'd write it in an old forgotten tongue like Aramaic. Not on papyrus, but on blue lines of white loose leaf sheets. All the words past the margin. All the words past the margin. All the words past the margin. To emblemize the boundlessness of the life force vibrating at the very core of the cosmos. Emanating in our hearts is the fiery spark impelling us towards the attainment of spiritual truth and liberty actualized in space-time, when the mind becomes a participant with the divine in the creative act. For there's life in the word, just like there's life in the blood. For the blood speaks volumes. Yes, the blood speaks volumes. Like Abel's, who was wrongfully slain by his brother Cain, that it shook the throne of heaven from the ground and cried so aloud in pain. And I want the words transcribed with the very ink of my pen to do the same. I want the ink that drips from my pen to be like blood, the blood of a martyr. For martyrs spark revolution. Revolution means change. And Lord knows that change is what these brothers need, locked up behind these walls and shackled up by these chains.
Man, that's big, bro. I mean, man, that's huge, man. I'm so proud of you. You know, Chicago is represented in a big way for you to be a Pick TV Network TV host, you know, business manager, author, worker, helping people, man, changing people's lives. You know, thank you for just everything you're doing, man. I just cannot wait until, you know, some more people come on that you're going to bring on here. I know you were at a big picnic the other day. We were talking at a big event. You're working at a new location, man. It's so much going on. Talk a little bit more before we close about the Saturday event that you guys have every Saturday that you invited me to, man. It was about maybe 12 or 15 or 20 people on that that session. Can you talk about that?
Oh, yeah. So every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, but 10 a.m. Central time, NAFI has a reentry circle. Sometimes, well, it's both virtual and in person. Because of the pandemic, it has changed the way that a lot of people live their lives. Most people now have gotten accustomed to attending it virtually, but you can still attend it in person. And so, as we discussed earlier, Dr. Evans was our guest, and we try to have a guest every week. We actually had, and you met him, one of our guests on the Prison Freedom Program, Dr. Evans, Lamont Carey. He was on there just this last Saturday. He was talking about his work that he's doing for returning citizens right there in Washington, D.C., where you are. So every Saturday we had a reentry circle. We have reentry coaches that facilitate it. Sometimes I facilitate it. And it's the National Alliance for the Empowerment of the Formerly Incarcerated. So we have people who are members of our organization or allies, you know, with our organization that network with us, people who are part of organizations dealing with prison reform, reentry, and other groups that what their causes are somehow connected to our cause. Like we may have someone who works for an organization that provides services for the homeless, right? Well, we know that a lot of people, and I used to work at a transitional living center for homeless men. So I know from my experience that a lot of people who are homeless are formerly incarcerated. They have a record, right? And so what happens a lot of times is those people, because of their circumstances, you know, the trauma that they've been dealing with from their life experiences, it affects them. But then even the trauma of just being, the traumatic experience of being homeless in itself, it affects them. And a lot of times it's so overwhelming that it results in them going back to prison or to the county jail. So we know that if we can, that if there's a person or if there's an organization that can provide services for those people who are homeless or on the verge of homelessness, right? Then what that does is it helps us with our cause and what we're trying to do. Because we know that there are essential things that a person needs, especially if they're coming from prison. You know, they need employment, they need clothing, they need food, they need shelter. And if you are homeless, then what that's going to do is it's going to impact you. in such a way that one may feel compelled to do certain things that could lead to him being incarcerated. And so we'll have someone that might come from an organization like that. We may have somebody who has a job training program come on, talk about the resources that they have, because we know that a person needs a job, but not just any job, right? He needs a job that will allow him to be able to earn a wage that can help him actually be able to support himself and not just get by. I mean, they may start off with a job that where they can just get by, day to day or whatever. But we know that that they need to earn a wage that will be able to sustain them, and then hopefully be able to build upon that so that they can move up and that they can prosper in life. And so we'll have people on there that have job training programs where they're able to acquire a skill or trade and things like that. So those are just two examples of our reentry circle and some of the people who will come on as guests or people who frequent it all the time, because reentry is an issue that they are sincerely concerned about.
I'm just so happy, man, again, for you to be the face of PIC TV Network, Prison Freedom Channel, to educate, to inform, to inspire everybody who watches this show. It's one of the fastest growing shows on PIC TV Network. People watch this. I get so many comments when I go to different places, man, and I talk to brothers and say, man, you need to check out the Prison Freedom Channel. They say I already did. I look at that show all the time. I'm encouraged. They tell somebody else, man, you need to watch that Prison Freedom Channel. I heard about that, man. I've seen that. So it's a whole lot of people are watching all over the world, and when they hear your story, that's why it's so important for you, Brother O, to continue to do what you're doing, man, to continue to build this channel, to get people to come on, not just in prison, but folk who are out of prison, and then public officials have been on here. You had women who've been on here who contributed. You brought on people who are outside of the system, who are responsible for other people's lives, man. You brought them right here on this channel and did interviews with them. And if anybody else you want to come on the Prison Freedom Channel, you want to talk to Brother O, he's available. He would love to have you to come on. You may know somebody who's in prison and they need somebody to talk to. Brother O is the man. This is the show to them to be on. And what you want to do is to support this program. Go right above here and scan that QR code, get some information about PIC TV Network. The information is right there. All about our network, how you can come on, get the information. You're watching the PIC TV Network. Scan that QR code. Go right up there and scan it right now. Be a part of the programs and support these programs. And Brother O, before we close this segment, man, we're going to talk about some more things when you come back on about Chicago. I did a little research on my phone. We have over 2 million people there in Chicago. A lot of the crimes don't make the news. There's people and mothers who are hurting right now.
Yeah.
There's shootings, and I don't walk outside and hear gunshots. I don't ride the subways and hear gunshots, but you've been in those settings. It's not strange to you, man.
Right.
I never seen nobody die in front of my face. I never seen nobody get shot and they on the side of the road, and I never seen that, man. But you have, and you in the area where there is real bullets in those guns, and people do get down there and bleed. I want to ask about that, man. I want you to talk about the crime, high crime areas, and some areas the police don't even go into.
Right.
I want to ask you about that, man. How can we help families during the holiday season with a gift card, with some toys for the kids, man? Because I want to get involved, but I wanted to hear from you, man, who knows certain areas, because even when I asked you about the people who got shot down there, and our hearts go out to those who lost loved ones down in Chicago around the 4th of July. But you said that wasn't the inner city.
No.
I'm thinking, because I'm in DC and I've never been there, that's in the hood. But you said that wasn't even the hood.
No, that incident actually happened in Highland Park. You know, it's just outside of Chicago, but it wasn't actually in Chicago, right? But that doesn't make it any less important. It's just that because it's so close to Chicago, a lot of people just said Chicago, Illinois, right? And then, of course, there is a lot of violence that occurs in Chicago, and we're known for that right now. So because it being so close, in such close proximity to our city, a lot of people just thought Chicago. But I've been to that place, actually, Highland Park, Illinois. I actually went to a poetry event there. So it was like, whoa, you know, and where I went, it was kind of nice. So just to see something like that occur there, it was surprising. But yeah, I take public transportation a lot. So I see a lot of things going on the subway. You know, a lot of violent incidents occur. You got a lot of people out there that are homeless, actually, that just frequent, you know, the buses and the subway trains. And some of those people, unfortunately, they have mental health issues. Someone just was murdered not that long ago from where I live. Last week, a person that does similar work that I do. He doesn't work with the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago, but he worked with another organization. He was murdered, and we've had a few people who have died, who have been victims of crimes, violent crimes. Either they have, you know, they've lost their life, or they've been, you know, they've been victims of robberies and things like that. So when we're out here doing the work that we're doing, we're trying to help people come out of prison and have a successful transition, or even, you know, trying to help do outreach work and try to help people who are in the community who are part of that demographic that is affected by, you know, the violence and the crime. Sometimes we get affected by that directly, whether it's directly or indirectly. But I see it a lot. Unfortunately. And I'm glad that you asked me that question, because with the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago, we actually have people that help, that provide services for victims, right? They'll go out and they'll talk to the people who have either been victims of a crime, or they had a family member who was a victim of a crime. Sometimes their family member might have even passed away, and so they go and they talk to them and they try to console them, and they reach out and try to do whatever they can. We have people who we have a case management department, and just a lot of things that we provide to try to help people in our communities that are in an environment that's hostile and violent. So I just wanted to just talk about that, my experience and the work that I do, but also some of my colleagues. And there are people who are really, like, they're even closer to it than I am. You know, they have to deal with it all the time. There are some of my colleagues, some of my co-workers. Sometimes I'm talking to them and they're like, hey, I just got this phone call and such and such person got shot. There are times that some of those people, they're always on being called, like late at night. Like, there's probably somebody right now that works for the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago who's gotten a call, whether it's a domestic violence call, somebody is in the hospital, was shot in critical condition or whatever, or they may have to go and a woman's husband or her child's father may have been involved in a violent incident, and one of our employees will have to go and talk to them, try to help them, console them, and see what's going on, what they need. So, and we always, unfortunately, we having vigils and memorials for people who have, fallen victim to some of these atrocious incidents. So, that's just the life right now, unfortunately, that a lot of us have to deal with. But there is hope. There is hope. I can say this, that in the Austin community, just based on some of the numbers that I've seen, our the shootings, I believe, are like, and I hope that I'm accurate with exactly what I'm saying, but it's something like our shootings are like the numbers haven't been this low in like almost 8 years, from what I hear. So the people that are doing the work, it is effective. They are helping people. We're seeing some good results, which give us hope, make us optimistic. And also, we just went to Selma and Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama. We took some of our participants with us down there to get them out of the city, so they wouldn't be, take them out of that environment where there's all that stress, all that tension, and allow them to have a vacation and go to a place outside of that environment. Some of them may have never left Chicago or never left the state. And so we take them to places like we did when we took them to Alabama last month, and they get a trip and get to taken out of their environment so they can enjoy themselves, they can relax, but also they were able to learn about their history. We went to the Edmund Pettus Bridge and allowed them to have that experience, and that's a good thing. And they came back and talking about their experience and how fulfilling it was. And so we're going up to Wisconsin Friday to a nonviolence retreat. Same thing, take them out of the environment where they can be able to relax, but also be educated, learn a little bit about their history, the principles, and become immersed in that, and so forth. And so by us knowing that we are able to do that for our clients, our participants, that gives them hope, but that also gives us hope and make us optimistic about what we're doing, that we are making a difference, that we are having an impact, and we see it. We see the results. And so hopefully we can keep building upon that.
Yeah, that's big. When I see you doing this great work like this, man, I'm excited, and you guys go on these retreats. You bring a different flavor to that city, man, to that environment, man. And it also helps not only you, but everybody else there. And this is why we got the Prison Freedom Channel on the PIC TV network, so the world can see the wonderful things you're doing and helping folks, man, to come out of a situation from prison to a new vision, to a new start in life. Thank you for watching today, the Prison Freedom Show. Brother O from Chicago. My name is David Evans from Washington, D.C. This has been an amazing show. Our guest, Brother Meadows, again, don't forget, he is the man you want to get in contact with. You want to be on the Prison Freedom Show. He is a business manager for the PIC TV network and a TV host. He hosts these shows on the Prison Freedom channel. And I can't wait till next time, Brother O. Thank you for your time, man. We love you, and God bless you, and thank you for just giving back to help somebody else.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. See you next time on the Prison Freedom Channel with Brother O.
Yeah.
They say your eyes are the windows to the soul. They're also the windows to your health because they let eye doctors see what's going on inside. Think about this. A comprehensive eye exam can be an early detector of serious health problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Shouldn't you see your eye doctor yearly? Go to thinkaboutyouryes.com to learn more and for a list of local eye doctors. It could help save more than your vision.